Hello, and welcome to my channel. My name is Jonathan Cohn, and today I have my book review of the book Star Wars Republic Commando, Order 66, which is the fourth book in the Republic Commando series. I've had a very interesting history with this series. I read the first two books, Hard Contact and Triple Zero, about 5 years ago, and they were fine. They were enjoyable, but at the time I wasn't a big mil sci-fi reader, and I'm still not as that big into the genre. But I put the series down for a while, read some other Star Wars books. However, in my attempt to try to 100% the EU, which I'm working on, I decided to pick up the rest of the books in the series. I had them all, I just needed to read them. So I read last month, The True Colors, which I really enjoyed. This is so far my favorite book in the series. So I really enjoyed this, and it gave me a lot of hope going into Order 66. And I just didn't care for this one. I thought it was fine. I think that it is well produced. I think that it is well foreshadowed, and everything about it is well done. It's just not interesting to me. Generally, Karen Travis's writing style just doesn't work for me. I read her three Legacy of the Force books. They were my three least favorite in the Legacy of the Force series. I also read these other, Republic Commando books, and while I respect them, and I think that, they provide some interesting elements, just as a whole, this series just it's really difficult for it to capture my attention. The way she writes the clones just doesn't work for me. The way she writes about Mandalorian culture just seems so weird, and it just doesn't really click for me. I know there's some people who view her version of the clone culture and the Mandalorian culture as sacred. They view it as the only version, and the other versions just don't work. For me, it's just never really clicked. It's never really worked that well for me. And so I didn't love that clone culture in here, and it continues on in this book. But this book specifically, about the first 2/3, almost the first 3/4 of this book is just kind of like the other books. The story's going along where they are trying to root out information about the Emperor. I mean, not the Emperor, the Chancellor, and they're also, you have this story of Atane and Dar, and Atane has had the baby, and she's trying to figure out how she's going to break the news to Dar in this book. And then you also have them going on various missions. And the missions I just didn't really care for in this book. The bright spot of the missions was when Atane was meeting with another Jedi, who I won't spoil who it is, but there is another Jedi from the EU who is a EU exclusive character. And if you read the certain other EU books, you'll be like, oh yeah, it's this character. And it was really cool to see this character present. But anyway, I liked that part a little bit, not a lot, but I liked that part because it was cool to get to see that character. And then I do really enjoy the characters of Atane and Dar. If you distilled this book series down to really just Atane and Dar, and maybe the stuff between stuff with Bassani and also some stuff with Scarada, like just really distilled it down, it might work for me because I'm really invested in Atane and Dar's connection and relationship, and about their history and the way that they interact with each other. And I'm really connected with, now that Atane's had the baby and how she's going to react to the baby, all that stuff. And, the whole discussion of, is she going to tell Dar? And when he finds out, how's he going to react? All of that I thought was really excellent. And that's what pulled the book up into the well done, because I thought it was well done. And then, of course, the book's titled Order 66. You know that at some point in this book, they have to address Order 66. It's at the very end of the book. It is at the very end of the book. It is the last 70 pages of this 470-page book. So it is not a big part of the book, but it is there. And I thought that the way that Karen Travis handled Order 66 was well done, even though it wasn't enjoyable as a read. This book was, honestly, whenever a book feels like a chore, that's just not good. A book should feel like, yes, I get to read this book, and instead it was I have to read this book. And so, anyway, there's a big climax event that happens in this book that changes the direction of the series for the future. I thought it was well done. I didn't like it. but I thought it was well done. So this is it's hard to give such lukewarm reviews to books like this when I don't think that Karen Traviss is a bad writer. I just think she's not a good writer for me. But because I'm trying to 100% the EU, I have to go through these books. There's one more book in this series. It's branded Imperial Commando 501st, which I do plan to read at the end of November, early December. And so I do plan to just finish out the series. But if I'm being honest, I think I gave like 000 like a 6.5 or a 7 when I originally reviewed it, and I gave Hard Contact about a 7-ish, somewhere on there. So these two, and then I think I gave True Colors like a 7.5. So I enjoyed that one more, but this I'm just gonna have to give a 6. Like, it's fine. It's just not a great book for me. It's also not a terrible book. It's just it's fine. Don't really love this series. I will complete it because I want to complete it, and hopefully maybe Imperial Commando 501st will like blow me away and I'll be like, oh my goodness, she stuck the landing. Knowing Karen Traviss's writing, considering I've read 7 of her books so far, I doubt that's the case. But if you've read Order 66, let me know your thoughts in the comments section down below. And until next time, I'm Jonathan, and thank you for watching.